shit.
What it is, every revolution or every political movement or any kind of change, and having someone, okay, CIA, which is fucking for you to call me CIA when you know I'm not.
Everything was politicized. It was, oh, this is when we became the left versus the right. But both sides are trash. In COVID,
his own thing. So it seems to be that money's the issue, that like we're using money and that's how politics is being pushed. Because now we've seen what someone does when they use their own money and it doesn't seem to be a solution. So I feel like we take money out of politics, we'll have a much better political system.
Politician, you think they're gonna come out and tell me the truth? They was lying to my mama. They ain't gonna never tell us.
So everybody, we look at certain things just because, oh, this happens in the hood or we see this every day. All the way up. These people were speaking truth. King, we could talk X, we could talk it all. They were speaking truth.
What's going on in anyone's mind, but let's take it as a given that Gray's argument is true, that the argument to not have ID is that it would be discriminatory versus certain socioeconomic brackets or something. It's like
the world's greatest trial run of what people will do and what people won't do. And we are the only country on the planet that really fought against the government. A lot of it,
Because you focus on 80-20 issues. I'm looking at the Epstein issue as we have 80% of the information we need to prosecute these people that actually did anything, but you're focusing on the 20% trying to take down Donald Trump, which you're never going to get. So I'm going to keep sitting here with a smug-ass face on every single day.
I'll explain. Good question. I'll give you the answer. The Republican Party constantly talks about transgenders and transgender surgery to minors.
I'm mostly on the left, ideologically, but I don't associate with the Democrats because they're not ideologically on the left. The Democrats are clowns, and they're also losers.
About to be any engaging conversation. It's not about to be any discourse about different political ideologies, what works and what doesn't. If that is the outcome, right? For example, I'm not gonna go and just put myself in the middle of a KKK rally.
Verify me, I'm not a fucking Fed. They always do this. I'll say this, right? But they did the same thing to Nick. We've seen the video. They'll call people who are genuine and authentic Feds because
the interesting thing to me is that the ones that claim that they believe the Constitution are now trampling the Constitution. The ones that said they believed in the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, right, are now going against the freedom of speech. The ones that...
So to see and hear this strong, compelling speech with emotion, I think that's extremely important for young men to see from a leadership perspective.
They don't have no plan. They don't never talk about nothing positive about the Democrat Party. Everything is just anti-Trump. They're not willing to have a conversation. They call us fascists. We willing to have a conversation. Charlie Kirk's willing to have a conversation.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Party. Why I like the new party? Number one, it's a group of people that's on a panel
We all have differences, but we all basically still come together at the end of the day. The new party for me is about unity. The new party for me is about educating people to the truth, letting people know what's been going on in our country. With that being said, shout out to the new party, man. We're going to keep it going with y'all.
Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Enzo.
I'm Kamal.
I'm Kim.
And tonight on the new party, we are going to talk about what everyone has been saying. If Mandani was elected, that Sharia law is coming to NYC. What does that look like? What does that mean? We're going to break it down tonight, but shout out to everybody watching. We are taking and accepting members. Shout out to Heaven. Thank you so much, Heaven, for supporting us and becoming a member. But let's get in here. Yes.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. This first clip, it went viral, y'all. This is Stephen A. Smith going off on a tangent, and he got a lot of heat this week from a lot of liberals. Let's watch.
Why? I'm not happy about it. I like Mamdani. I'm looking forward to interviewing him. He's promised to be on this show. But I'm very, very concerned about some of the things that he said. I'm very concerned about what he once said about defunding the police. I'm calling 911. I'm being real with you. I'm calling 911. That's what I'm doing. I don't want to see less police officers. I want to see more police officers. I heard him talk about mental health experts in the subway system. I don't care about that. I want cops in the subways in New York City, where I was born and raised. Born in the Bronx, raised in Queens. That's what I want. I want to hear about no damn mental health experts in subways. Nah, I'm not trying to hear that, okay? 2% tax on the rich. Okay, fine. 11.5% capital gains tax. On its face, okay, fine. Free buses. Free grocery stores in each borough. Really? Really think that's going to work? Ladies and gentlemen, we're at a crossroads in this nation. And there's no way to slice it. And the level of vitriol that you see amongst the American citizen is because, God forbid, that you have a difference of opinion. It's not enough to agree. You know, people have to be disagreeable. And you have to be selfish if you're a person that's rich, that's making money, and you don't want to pay your fair share of taxes. Well, when you think about the billionaires in the state, in the city of New York, they make up about 48%. In terms of the amount of taxes that they dole out compared to the average American, compared to the rest of New Yorkers. And if you're talking about raising their taxes while doing these other things, you're making New York unattractive, not just for residents, but for businesses. And if you make it unattractive for businesses and you compromise the ability to be the capitalist that these people are, then they take their businesses elsewhere. So the money that they paid on their homes, or in rent, they move out of the city or the state. Businesses follow. And ultimately, the tax burden falls on to New Yorkers out there, which means that rent freezes, which is also something that Mamdani pushed. Is that really going to be plausible? Are you really going to be able to freeze rent? Or are you going to end up hiking it? Because you don't have enough people here to pay it. Tax revenue, where you getting that from? See, these are all the kind of things that we have to connect the dots and ask ourselves, 1 + 1, does it equal 2? Is it really plausible that these things are going to happen? According to Mayor Hochul, 90% of the stuff Mamdani said he can't do on his own. He got to come through her and the state legislature in order to get it done. Is he going to be able to do that? What level of support is he going to have outside of young whippersnappers out there who love him and are so in love with his personality and everything else that they didn't really dot the I's and cross the T's and look at actual policies and the kind of effect that's going to have on New Yorkers? That's what I'm worried about. I hope I'm wrong. Because talking to him, I liked him. I'm looking forward to sitting down and interviewing with him. I just want to know where the money coming from. See, I count. Okay? I count. And I can't tell you how many young teenagers,
God,
it could be
mad.
daughters, it could be nieces and nephews, it could be friends and family members or relatives of folks along that age gap. and you're asking the same question. And you know what you come up with? The people who love Mamdani the most are not people who pay bills every day.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that applies to everybody. I'm not applying that. But they certainly not people that pay bills every day all the time. You don't see business owners clamoring to support them. I'm just saying these things are important to bring up.
Okay, we're gonna allow the New Yorker, New Jerseyer, whatever he wants to call himself, the tri-state area, Italian Charlie Kirk himself, Enzo. We met in New York City. What do you think? Is it going to be the same New York if I come up there and see you again? Or are we going to be seeing Sharia law? And that is the poll question of the night. Is Mamdani going to bring Sharia law to New York City?
I honestly think so. Honestly think they're going to try to implement some type of form of Sharia law and turn New York City, the city that I hold dear and near to me, into a fucking shit show. I don't understand how New York City, the beacon of capitalism, the beacon of hope in the United States, of freedom in the United States, has elected somebody who is a socialist at the end of the day. Like, I am disgusted in New Yorkers that they allowed this to happen. All because they're throwing out the phrase free. And this is to the younger generation, the people who actually got out there and vote, because all the older ones are in Staten Island, and you see who they voted for unanimously, Cuomo in Staten Island. And everybody hates Cuomo. To see that Cuomo got 41% of the vote, even though New York hates him, really spoke volumes to me. And you could tell in New York City, as well as the other surrounding boroughs, this is pretty much the younger ones who just want everything handed to them. They want daddy government to give them everything. They don't want to work for anything. And I think it's ironic now. I really do, how Mamdani was like, yeah, don't give us donations. And now today comes out and say, you know, remember how I told you don't donate? Yeah, now we need the money. I thought you were going to give everything free to them, but now they got to pay for it? What's going to, like Stephen A said, when the rich get out of there, the burden is going to be on the middle class. And then when the burden's not on them, when they leave, it's going to be on poverty. It's going to fail. It happened in Seattle when they raised the corporate tax rate as well as capital gains tax. Amazon and Microsoft left. They left to the surrounding areas. We saw state-run grocery stores in Kansas as well as in Seattle too. It failed. It's not going to work here. You guys are going to screw yourselves and destroy your city. And then getting rid of the police and putting in place social workers. If a crackhead has a fucking blade to my neck, I don't want a social worker saying, we understand what you're going through. Let's try to talk this out. No, he's going to slit my throat. I want you to put 2 in his head. That's what I want. That's what New Yorkers want. New Yorkers want safety. We don't want this.
Well, I guess my title is striking a nerve tonight, but that's okay because y'all are watching. Dubai Light pro-trans Muslim bring in Sharia. You are clowns. And thank you, Kareem. We appreciate the support. But we're going to break it down because there is a why behind my question, and we have the facts to back it up. So whether you like it or not, it's in Dearborn, Michigan, and we'll play the clips. But anyways, I'm going to play this clip and let Kimberly get in there. This is what he said election night.
Built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
A very angry immigrant whose own mother says he doesn't identify as an American. I mean, I can I just spend a minute on this because he's absolutely right. New York was built by immigrants. America was built by immigrants. But we have a difference now of immigrants. Listen to this from Teddy Roosevelt. There is no room in this country for hyphenated Americanism. When I refer to hyphenated Americans, I don't refer to naturalized Americans. Some of the very best Americans I've ever known were naturalized Americans, Americans born abroad. But hyphenated American is not an American at all. This is just as true of a man who puts native before the hyphen as a man who puts German or Irish or English or French before the hyphen. Americanism is a matter of the spirit and the soul. Our allegiance must be purely to the United States. We must unsparingly condemn any man who holds any other allegiance. Think about this. Think about this in what's happening with the Somali communities. Think about Minnesota. Think about Dearborn. Think about New York. Think about what's being said about and to immigrants today. If he is heartily and singly loyal to this republic, then no matter where he was born, he is just as good as an American as anyone else. The one absolute certain way of bringing this nation to ruin, of preventing all possibility of its continuing to be a nation at all, would be to permit it to become a tangle of squabbling nationalities, an intricate knot of German Americans, Irish Americans, English Americans, French Americans.
Kimberly, you agree with what he said? What's your thoughts? I mean, he going kind of hard there. Not You're muted there.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Okay, go out and come back in. I'm gonna let Kamal go next while you do that. Because you might have to leave because we can't hear you. And I don't see she's muted though. She might have to restart. Okay. I'm gonna remove her. Yeah. Kamal, what do you think about what he said?
Man, him and Guy Fieri's uncle need to shut the fuck up. Talk about America was built by immigrants. What the hell is Mama Donnie talking about? Hello, my friend ass motherfucker. Get the F out of here with that bullshit. I'm tired of that narrative that America was built by immigrants. Man, that is straight bull malarkey. All right. And then I'm looking at it like this. If 50 Cent saying New York is dead and bro loves New York, then God damn it, New York might be dead after this bro got elected. I don't know. I'm just saying. Like, it's gonna be interesting though. I can't wait to see what fucking happens, but it's gonna be real interesting. But that narrative that immigrants built New York, shut that bull jive up. And I think we really is in a simulation, right? Because I saw a clip of the real world Looney Tunes. I seen a coyote chasing an actual roadrunner, and now an immigrant is a mayor of New York. Where the fuck is Batman? God damn. Ain't he supposed to stop shit like this? Goodness gracious, man. I don't know. I think we in a simulation, y'all. I could be wrong though. Maya, what you think? We in a simulation.
Hold on, wait, it's Kimberly. Sorry. Kimberly, what you think?
Oh, my bad.
No, that's okay. Maya, go ahead and answer. You're muted.
You're muted.
The one time I mute myself to make sure I don't talk out of turn. It wouldn't surprise me if we are in a simulation. I mean, CERN over there in Switzerland be doing weird things. So it wouldn't shock me the first time they ran the hydrogen collider.
Yeah. I think we are in the beginning stages. We definitely are in the beginning stages of the Matrix, for sure. There's like there's like a cross street coming up. And we're definitely headed towards the Matrix. Also, aliens are here. They're interdimensional beings. They don't come from the sky. Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with an immigrant running a U.S. city. He is here legally. I believe he's a naturalized citizen. There's nothing wrong with being proud about being an immigrant. I think there's a lot of race baiting, and I'm not one to quickly pull out the race card. But you see it a lot with Mamdani. Glenn Greenwald did a really good video on this the other day. I highly recommend it. Glenn Greenwald is solid when it comes to this topic. Also, we don't have to tax work. We can tax wealth. There's a lot of wealth in New York. And the difference between taxing work and taxing wealth is that you can leave the city, but there's still be wealth there in the city that's enough to tax. And there's more than enough wealth to tax in the richest city, in the richest country of the world. And also, there's nothing wrong with socialism. It's not even that, he's not even that radical. He's like proposing free buses. in the richest city, in the richest country in the world. A lot of very rich cities offer free transportation. That's not even that crazy. I think that, okay, because it's true that Democrats, and he's already placated the Democratic Party. At the end of the day, if you're running through the Democratic Party, I don't think I think he will be limited. I think, like with Bernie Sanders, a lot of the times people would criticize Bernie Sanders and say, but he really wouldn't be able to do anything, right? But there is such thing as political capital. He got more than half of the vote. They're smart. They know what they're doing, but they're also sheepdogs for the Democratic Party. So what is he really going to do? I would love to see it. I still think it's much better to have Mamdani as mayor of the city. I think that there is great benefit to social welfare programs. I think that there are too many people here that are way too rich. And what we are, well, I don't know what he's proposing, but when I think of like tax the rich, I think of like 1950s USA. We're not talking about communist China or the Soviet Union or Cuba. We're talking about like just like very basic economic populist tax the rich. They're way too fucking rich. Nobody needs to be that rich. There's absolutely no need to be that rich, and it could be done. And New York City is a city of immigrants. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being an immigrant. There's nothing wrong with being Muslim. He's not going to bring Sharia law. That is just a fear tactic that people use to divide us. And in the meantime, people who are being used as sheepdogs for the Democratic Party or blind sheep for the Republican Party are just honestly carrying water for the very, very rich at the expense of the working class.
Okay, well, Kimberly said that he's not going to bring Sharia law. I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off this show right now. Let's take a look and see what life looks like in Dearborn, Michigan.
Oh, there they go, there they go. Long set up, long set up.
We're in Dearborn. This is the call of prayer. It goes off 5 times a day here in the United States. Would you like to hear this blasting through your neighborhood? They don't have a choice of whether they hear this or not.
No, and we ain't getting no 7,000. I wish we was. And I'm also half Moroccan and a descendant of Muhammad. But let me tell you something. The United States is a Christian country, and I wouldn't want to live amongst that. Mia, what you think?
I mean, I definitely would not want to pay taxes for that. I mean, obviously we have the freedom of religion and everybody to practice, but generally, typically the religion is held in a religious house and it's quiet outside that religious house to give, equal playing field to all of them. So why do Muslims get to have the majority of the sounding board in Dearborn, Michigan? What about Christians and Catholics that live there, or Protestants, or even Mormons? Mormons might live there. Why is the city being overrun and taken over by them? Obviously, it's not every single Muslim or every single follower of Islam. I don't know if Mamdani is going to bring Sharia law. I don't think so. His wife isn't even a devout Muslim. I mean, she's in some pretty risque clothes. I don't really think he's going to I don't think he's going to bring a Sharia law, because he reminds me of like a very generic Muslim. His family, they're very generic Muslims. They're not followers. It'd be different if she was in a hijab and she was more devout, then I would say maybe. But a lot of these leaders in Dearborn, Michigan, even the women that are elected are in hijabs, and they appear to be very devout. Like, you look at them and you know they take that shit serious. You look at, Zoran and his wife look like they smoke a little bit of pot, they eat some edibles, and they probably eat pork and don't tell nobody. I mean, they look like that. I'm sorry. They're probably have eaten edibles, eating some bacon, all right? Like, they don't look like they're devout, so I don't think he's going to usher in some Sharia law. Maybe if his wife was a little bit more Muslim, I would change my mind. But I mean, I don't think so. I think they're very like generic Muslim, more of like a bloodline. You know what I mean? More of like a bloodline than a practicing. I know plenty of Jewish people that have Christmas trees and stuff. You know what I mean? And that open gifts. They seem more like that than they are super devout.
Speaking.
Who do y'all think is more Muslim, Madani's wife or Brittany Renner?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I think Brittany Renner.
Damn.
She just retired from it after her and Kevin Gates broke up. She said she's not a Muslim anymore.
Well, then there you go. But that doesn't mean that he's not going to put certain things first, and that is the concern. And Enzo probably can explain it better, but Nelson says it best, and I'm going to play this clip. I watch council members in Dearborn say, if you don't accept it, you aren't welcome. And I actually have that clip, Nelson. So thank you for bringing that up, because again, that doesn't mean just because he's practicing doesn't mean certain things won't be institutional, put in place. So let me play the clip. Yeah, let me play this clip. Hold on. Here we go.
Hezbollah, bombed the embassy in Beirut, and including many Americans. So I just feel it's quite inappropriate.
You are an Islamophobe. And although you live here, I want you to know as mayor, you are not welcome here. And the day you move out of the city will be the day that I launch a parade celebrating the fact that you moved out of the city.
So, Gray, what is your thoughts on what he said? That's the mayor of Dearborn talking to a resident of Dearborn.
I feel like the mayor could have handled it better. He shouldn't have got so emotional. He could have said, these remarks can be seen as Islamophobic. You should not be saying this in a public setting, but I don't think you should be telling any of your constituents that you want them to leave the city, or you go have a parade once they leave. You're still supposed to have this person's best interest at heart, whether they don't agree with you or whether they are disgruntled or whatever. They pay taxes, they live there. So in that situation, I don't feel like the mayor handled that professionally.
Yeah, and again, I'm going to play this last clip, and I'll have Enzo close us out on this topic. But this is what Dearborn, Michigan has come to, and people probably didn't think it was going to come there either.
What are some of the worst misconceptions about Dearborn that you think hurt folks that live here?
We're not a diverse city. We produce terrorists in the city. We are not Americans in the city, although we are as Americans could be. Makes me angry, makes me sad.
He didn't fucking say that.
Some people are being brainwashed.
In the heart of Dearborn, there's a thriving culture signifying someplace special, a community as well known for its delicious food as its rich history.
This is a 3 chicken with the whole chicken, okay?
At lunchtime, you're sure to find countless cafes and restaurants filled with people craving freshly made shawarma. Just one of many savory dishes attracting both locals and out-of-towners.
We've been here for well in excess of 100 years.
But Dearborn native Ron Amon remembers his city long before all the excitement.
I moved to the South End when I was 3 years old.
When the lure of a high-paying factory job was enough to attract thousands to the American dream of a better life.
What was it that originally brought people to live here in Dearborn and attracted them to this area?
Henry Ford opened up the Ford Rouge complex in 1921. Started paying this fantastic wage of $5 a day. One of the things that the old man, Henry, insisted upon was that you learn to speak English. You came to work in the morning, that first First hour of work, you went to a class and learned how to speak English. And you actually got paid for it, too.
Arab American Muslims began embracing a new place with better schools for their children, a new life, and a chance to raise their families with a promise of a better tomorrow. Some kids grew up wanting to follow in their parents' footsteps with Ford Motor Company. Others, like Ron Amon, had a desire to take up public service, to break down barriers rooted in ignorance.
I was a police officer for 32 years. No, Dearborn does not operate under Sharia law. I served a combat tour of duty in Vietnam in 1967. I fought for this country.
Compared to the 50s, when 1,000 to 1,500 Arab Americans lived in Dearborn, now Dearborn's estimated population exceeds 103,000, with nearly 45% Arab Americans, most of whom are Muslim. While the city is home to the highest concentration of Arab people outside the Middle East, often people are unaware 55% of folks here are French Canadian, Italian, Polish, and of other backgrounds. Today, an iconic staple in Dearborn is Shatila Bakery. Amid all this goodness, baked fresh each day, there's a family story dating back nearly 4 decades.
Riyad Shatila, he's the one who made everything from scratch, and that's why they taste the way they do.
100-year-old recipes perfected originally by founder Riyad Shatila, who studied the art of fine pastry making in France and Lebanon. Since then, a new member of the Shatila family has emerged to keep the tradition going.
The American dream is working hard with passion and with purpose to be who you want to be.
Since her father's passing, Riyad's daughter Nada Shatila has taken over the reins of this world-class bakery, delivering a taste back home. She's also a shining example of being a proud Muslim American.
I feel like we're bringing the Middle East to people who haven't been exposed to it before. We have real ingredients, real everything, and the community also is a big reason that we're still successful to this day. We have a very diverse customer base. We were just limited to Dearborn, and now we're shipping worldwide, and people all over the U.S. are coming in to try our products.
Sissy Penniger from Taylor is also here for a special occasion.
Today is my sister's 60th birthday, and I'm having a dinner for her, and I came by Shatia to pick up desserts.
As in its beginning, the community remains committed to being diverse and inclusive to all, while working to be portrayed fairly beyond its borders.
My religion is something in my heart. I am an American first.
Wasim Mahfouz is the executive director of the nonprofit social services organization Leaders Advancing and Helping Communities. As a Muslim American immigrant from Lebanon, he sees Dearborn as a place staying true to its roots while continuing to grow like any other city.
We all come here seeking a better life and better opportunities.
How is Dearborn similar to so many other cities across Metro Detroit?
You have people from different ethnic backgrounds, white, Middle Easterns, Black, Europeans, etc. People who follow different religious beliefs, Muslims, Christians, Jewish. I mean, the moment you come to Dearborn,
Boy, this show is going to come full circle tonight. Can't wait for the last segment. But Enzo, what is your thoughts on that clip? What is the future of New York City? And close us out why it all ties together and what the fares are for New Yorkers. Because, boy, it's like I'm the most pro-Islamic person usually on the panel. Am I not, Enzo? Don't I get offended by stereotypes? However, America is America, but go ahead.
My whole thing with Mondami getting elected is, and I've been called every name in the book because I've been talking about it all week now since he's been elected. How did we go from the city that we'll never forget to the city that we forgot? That's the one thing that I will keep echoing, and it's not because he's Muslim, not at all. It's because he platformed somebody who was a part of the 93 bombings of the World Trade Center. How do we elect that person? How do we elect that type of person who wants to take the capitalist capital of the United States and turn it socialist and drive all the money out? Like, I get it. Taxing the wealth. Everybody wants to tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich. They're going to leave. We've tried this before. We've tried it. It's not going to work in America. And Kim, you brought up the 1950s. We had 4 recessions within 10 years by having taxing the rich more. Then not going to work. New York is screwed. It's never going to be the same again after this. And I honestly feel so bad. And I'm sorry, it's going to blow up in their face. This is going to be demise. Like, you guys have your win now. You guys have your win for 4 years. But once you start seeing the sky falling from the policies and the fact that they're going to try to do these things, even if Kathy Hochul gets on board with this, because I guarantee she will, just to spite Trump. That's the type of Democrat that Kathy Hochul is. I mean, we're talking about the same Kathy Hochul that changed the laws so they can bring Donald Trump to court multiple times in New York City. They had to change multiple laws just to get a conviction on him. But it's sad in my eyes. It really is, to see the young generation of people in this country that, I'm just going to say it bluntly, they're stupid. People don't look into who they're voting for. They vote blue no matter who. They vote red no matter who. And that's what we're at in this country. Because I've seen plenty of videos of people walking around in New York City, questioning people who they like, asking people who they voted for mayor. They're like, oh, we voted for Mondami. Oh, what was your favorite policy? Oh, what about this policy? Oh my God, I didn't know he was running on that. Or doing my lives every single day, going through people and talking to people that voted for him and asking them, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? I never knew he ran on that. I regret my vote now. People need to wake up and open their eyes and realize who you guys are putting into power, because it's not just going to screw you over. It's going to screw everybody over. It's going to screw the entire city over. Like, Wall Street is not going to be in New York anymore. NASDAQ just opened their headquarters in Texas. NASDAQ is moving out of New York. Like, what do you guys really think is going to happen if you raise the taxes? People are going to leave. That's what I'm going to keep echoing. Going to screw the city over and put the lower class even lower. They're going to put them under, the people in poverty are going to be under the poverty line by the time this ends. This little pet experiment that the Democrats want to run.
Or it could be the biggest success in the world. We'll see. The future is bright. All right, guys. The next thing is we have now reached the record for the longest government shutdown. I think yesterday was the record and we reached it. And now the flights, the industry has announced that they are cutting 10% of flights. Boy, I hope none of y'all are getting on a plane anytime soon. Let's watch this clip where it breaks it down. And I'm praying for you if you are.
Across the country are dealing with flight delays and cancellations. This as the Federal Aviation Administration warns of a surge in air traffic controller callouts. They've been working without pay now for 33 days. And while the FAA says they will never compromise on safety, they admit that air traffic controllers are under, quote, immense stress and fatigue. Our Bo Evans is live at DFW Airport this morning, looking at the impact right now and also sharing a warning for travelers that those conditions can quickly change. Good morning, Bo.
Yeah, good morning, Robbie. And right now at Terminal D at DFW, things are not so bad. But as recently as Friday night, our newsroom was getting notifications of delays up to an hour because of staffing issues. Now, both TSA agents and air traffic controllers are deemed essential, so they are required to work during a government shutdown and will receive back pay. But that means right now they aren't getting paychecks. The FAA said Friday that half its airports across the country are experiencing shortages, and that leads to delays. CBS News has also reported that the number of sick calls for controllers across the country has increased during the shutdown. Now, we reached out to DFW Airport over the weekend, and an airport spokesperson told us that the FAA implements air traffic management programs based on capacity for safe operations, and that they still encourage passengers to arrive early and check the status of their flights. Now, we will keep you updated to all conditions here at DFW Airport and make sure you have all the information you need to make that flight on time.
Kim, what's your thoughts? What do you think about what's going on with this government shutdown, and how do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, I do like two things, and I think I've opined on this before. So I think it's not that I like that the Democrats are standing up for themselves, but it's good that they are because they normally don't. The reasons why they are holding it down is mostly for the healthcare subsidies. I think they should pass single payer healthcare. I still think they should pass single payer healthcare. They're not going to do that. I don't think it's necessary to hold it off, the shutdown off this late, but then who folds, right? And for what was it for? So it just depends on like political leverage. I will say though that at the end of the day, these parties talk to each other. There's always a backdoor channel. Real politics happens behind closed doors. What's the angle here? What's really going on? What are they trying to keep us distracted for? So I'm not sure exactly what that is yet, but unfortunately, we do need those healthcare subsidies because the ACA requires it. And well, as you said earlier too, like everybody's healthcare prices are going up. The real solution would be single payer healthcare, but they're not going to do that either. And I'm supposed to fly out to Chicago for Thanksgiving, so that's not good. There's always a smarter way to do things. They could have kept certain federal workers paid. They could have used emergency funds. They could do a lot of different things, but they don't, at the expense of the American people. So polls still show that a lot of Americans still blame the Republican Party. It's starting to shift now. I think it's both of their faults. But yeah, I hope it doesn't really affect my flights because I'm flying with my kids.
Oof, I'm going to send you a prayer. But this man, he's an air traffic controller. He went and did an interview with TMZ. Let's see what he had to say.
I go to work Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. I happen to have a good shift. So after that, it opens the opportunity for me to make more money. And I feel like the most direct mechanism for providing extra income for myself to try to bridge the gap between when we'll start back getting paid is door dashing. It's cumbersome, it's difficult, it's not easy. Sometimes you don't get tipped. It's a bit frustrating at times, but the money, I don't have to worry about when it'll come in. So I know when it'll come in, and that's the reason why.
How late do you work?
I don't want to jeopardize my fatigue level, so I do not perform after 8:30. But nevertheless, on my weekends, I try to put in like 8 to 10 hours, depending on my kid, who I'm a single pops. So on her, and she's active outside of school with basketball. So depending on what she has, her obligation, then I'll try to work around that, delivering food.
It's going to get harder and harder to not be fatigued when you show up for work as an air traffic controller. And I guess that's got to be, I would imagine, what you and your comrades at work are saying, like, when is this thing going to end? And how are we going to deal with this? I mean, is this something that you guys are all talking about and dealing with?
So I'm kind of like the OG now of air traffic, having been in 16 years. So the YGs, the young controllers come in my office and they express to me exactly how long they have. And again, everyone's unique. Some of them have parents that help out, but often most of them do not. In fact, I have a lady that I'm training right now downstairs, and she just had a baby 7 months ago, and she's literally wondering if it had been better if she not joined at all.
So are our fears misplaced, or is this real, especially if the shutdown continues?
We create a culture. I'm an advocate for safety, but I do have a friend. And I wanted to see her, and I asked her to see me, and she was like, "There's no way. I'm getting on an airplane right now." And our dialogue was this. She said, "What if that one person who's going through a divorce, also not knowing when they're going to get paid, has a mental lapse?" And I kind of took a step back, and it hit me kind of hard. I was like, "Oof."
Oh my God.
So I would never say that it's unsafe because I know what I put into it, but I'm just one individual. Everyone is unique. All controllers are not created equal. Someone may be under such duress that a mental lapse, and I hate to say it, but it could occur. I just hope and pray that it doesn't.
Do you get mad every time you see a politician, whatever side of the aisle they're on, on TV blaming the other side instead of actually getting this done
and getting
so that
paid.
you guys can get paid.
And they're getting paid.
My opinions don't represent the FAA nor the National Air Traffic Controllers Association, NACA. This is just my opinion, but every day that goes on, you get madder and madder. It's like a cumulative effect. So there will reach a point where it could implode. Like,
Kamal, what if they said you gotta work, you gotta come in every day, and you gotta say overtime because 5 people done called out since they ain't getting paid? Would you do it? And what do you think about what bro said?
I'm gonna be sick most of that time. I got the vid, y'all. I'm gonna be saying I got the vid 2025 fucking whatever version y'all want to have. I got that version of the shit. I'm not coming in. What? But they force them people to kind of like, if you don't come in, you losing your job. Don't they do that shit?
That's a good question, because I know a lot of TSA people been calling out, and that's part of why they're shutting down the flights, because they've been calling out like crazy. The TSA workers, they don't play that. They don't show up. I think it's something to do with it must be their union or something. I got to do research into that.
I think most of them are unionized anyway, so I don't think they're in jeopardy of losing their jobs. They have a union rep. They're paying money for the union. Usually, it's pretty difficult to be in a union and lose your job.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm gonna put on my tinfoil kufi on real quick. I think they doing this. It's killing 2 birds with 1 stone, right? One is kind of getting rid of some of the government jobs. I feel like. 2, right? 2, if y'all notice, flights ain't really been hit with inflation. This could be a way to be like, oh, we got less planes in the air. We're gonna have to raise the prices on flight tickets. I don't know if it's true, but I think that's what's happening right here. You feel me? I could be wrong, but I don't know. So I'm thinking. But to answer y'all, I will be sick most of the time if I was working for them and they doing this shit. After hearing what y'all said about the union, yep, I'm sick, can't come in. You feel me?
Yes. Mia, what do you think? What's your thoughts on it?
I wouldn't be going in. I am the least loyal person to an employer you could imagine. I am like a terrible employee. I'm a great worker. I'm a terrible employee, bro. I don't give a rat's motherfucking ass. I'm going to do what I want to do. You're like, while I'm on shift and I'm clocked in, 100%, I go hard. I go hard. As second as I clock out, I don't even know this place. Don't hit me up. Don't text me. Don't ask me nothing. I don't want to hear from you. I don't know you. I'm going to talk shit about you. And then I come back, I clock in, and we're good. I wouldn't. I'm sorry. And it's so demeaning to like spend all those years, the training, the education, and now to be demeaned to have to DoorDash. And I know DoorDashing in and of itself, like some people like get by on that. But to me, DoorDash is like Gen Z's equivalent to flipping burgers at McDonald's. It is mind numbing. It is easy. There's no thought. It's non-scaled work meant for young people. I would be so demeaned to have to do that after working my real job, and then to have to roll into DoorDash in order to get paid, plus be a single parent, plus have to pay for a potential formula or your children too on top of that. Fuck that. I'd be like, me and Kamal be together, passing the flu back and forth, cough, cough. We'd have variant A, variant B, variant D. I mean, I'd have a new variant every week. And me and my PCP, we're cool. He'd give me those doctor's notes. I'd be like, doctor. And he'd give me some notes. So I'd cover my tracks.
Gray, you were in the military. Thank you for your service. Was the government ever shut down the years you were in? And did you have to work for free?
Yeah, we had to work for free, and they brought us all outside. They said, if anybody thinking about not showing up, y'all going to jail. So it's just a whole different atmosphere in that situation. They not playing around. So you can't even go 60 miles. But yeah, I've had twice not and gotten paid working for the government. But it didn't last as long as it did with them, luckily. So, but yes, with the military, they're not playing those type of games. You can't call out. You can't even call out the military. If you're sick, you can be dying. You still have to show up and say, "Hey guys, I'm sick," and then they have to let you leave. So you're government essentially.
But you guys have what? You guys have the barrack system and like a mess hall. So in theory, you can eat and technically you can sleep.
Yeah,
correct. So at least
live,
you guys can have food. So you don't have to worry about paying for food. At least
That's not. Yeah, no, that's not true though. Because Gray, you never lived on property. You didn't live unless you were stationed in Iraq. You didn't. You had your own house. You told me.
I was married, so you get a stipend. Right. You get money for food. You get money for housing. So I had apartments, but I had to drive and come on post. But the single guys and the guys under E5 live in the barracks, and they also get to eat in the cafeteria for free.
But did you, if you lived off base,
eat for free?
Yeah,
I would use Doc card. Doc, I would be like, "Hey Doc, give me your lunch card." I go in there and I get my free meal. Then I'd be like, "Doc, here you go. I just went and ate." So I would use his card or one of my friends' card to go eat for free. But no, they make the married people pay.
Okay, but when the government was shut down, did you still get your rent paid?
No. I had to go to my apartment complex and say, "Hey, y'all know what's going on? Y'all watching the news?" Like, so that's exactly what's going on. So, like, no, you don't get paid. You cannot have gas. You still have to find a way there. They're not playing any games with these people. It's something called the family care plan. If you cannot take care of your responsibilities, you can't take care of your child or something like that, you will get taken out of the military. They will make you go through the process and say, "Oh, I can't take care of my children," or "Oh, I can't do this." Like me, I had a top secret security clearance. So I had to maintain a certain credit score. I couldn't have any type of crimes going on because it's like, this person is compromised. Somebody can come and get him and tell him, "Oh, we'll give you this," and then he'll give American information. So there's all types of standards that you have to apply to, or you will lose your job. I know somebody that lost their job because their credit score got too low, so they didn't trust them with sensitive information anymore.
Yeah, I've heard that. It's wild times, guys. Let's pray for the government shutdown. Let's pray for all the people not eating. I mean, it's really rough times. I really wish that they would stop playing these games. But we're going to switch gears to the last topic of the night. Why is the Sudan genocide being ignored? Is United Arab Emirates funding it? We will answer that tonight. So we're going to start with this first clip that gives us some history about what's going on. When Heaven first brought this story to me, I'm not going to lie, Heaven, don't be mad. But I'm like, don't nobody give a damn about no damn Sudan. What's she talking about? They've been having genocide. I'm just being honest.
That's what I thought when I saw this was the topic.
I'm just really being blunt. But then I was like, all right, let me do a little bit of a deep dive. And my mind was blown with what's going on over there and how it all connects. And that's the only reason I'm talking about it tonight. Other than that, I'm going to be real with you. I wasn't going to cover it. I'm just saying I wasn't going to cover it. But here we go. This is the history about the Sudan.
If you Google what's happening in Sudan, you'll be greeted with horrific satellite photos, images of blood-caked soil and blackened ruins. The city of El Fasher in Darfur has fallen, and what's unfolding there has been described as genocide in real time. In this explainer, we take you inside Sudan's civil war, who's fighting, how the conflict spiraled into genocide, and why the world's silence could be enabling one of the worst humanitarian disasters in decades. Sudan's current war traces back to 2019, when mass protests ended 3 decades of Omar al-Bashir's iron-fisted rule. For a brief moment, Sudan looked ready for democracy. But that dream crumbled in 2021, when 2 generals, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, better known as Hemedti, staged a coup against the transitional government. Burhan commands the Sudanese Armed Forces, the country's conventional military. Hemedti leads the Rapid Support Forces, a powerful paramilitary born out of the Janjaweed militias that carried out atrocities in Darfur 2 decades ago. Both men were allies once, ruling together after the coup. But by 2023, tensions boiled over. Burhan wanted the RSF absorbed into the army. Hemedti refused, seeing it as an attempt to strip him of power. What followed was an all-out war that ripped Sudan apart. The RSF has roots in the Janjaweed. The militia's infamous for burning villages and massacring non-Arab communities during the Darfur Genocide of the early 2000s. Rebranded and formalized under former dictator al-Bashir, the RSF became both a domestic enforcer and a regional mercenary outfit. Its fighters were deployed to Yemen and Libya, often paid in gold mined from Sudan's rich deposits. Sudan's gold has bankrolled the RSF's war chest. Reports from the UN and independent investigators say the group smuggles gold through networks reaching the United Arab Emirates, accusations the UAE denies. Still, many analysts believe the RSF's rapid military rise, with access to advanced drones and heavy weapons, points to deep-pocketed foreign backers. El Fasher, the capital of North Darfur, was once a refuge for over 1 million displaced civilians. For 18 months, it stood as the last major army stronghold in Darfur. But by late October 2025, the RSF encircled it completely. Supplies dwindled, hospitals ran out of medicine, and residents resorted to digging trenches around their homes for protection. When the RSF finally stormed the city, the result was carnage. The UN reports that hundreds were killed in a single day, including dozens inside a maternity hospital. Eyewitnesses described gunmen executing families and looting aid trucks meant for refugees. By the time the fighting stopped, El Fasher was almost entirely destroyed. The UN now warns that what happened there amounts to ethnic cleansing. Since the war began, more than 150,000 people have been killed and 12 million displaced. That's nearly 1 in 4 Sudanese. 25 million people, more than half the population, now depend on humanitarian aid. Yet the UN says it has received barely a fraction of the funding it needs. Both sides have been accused of using starvation as a weapon of war, blocking food and medicine to punish communities seen as loyal to the other. Doctors Without Borders has warned that famine-like conditions are already emerging across Darfur and Kordofan. The global response has been muted. The United States formally declared the RSF's actions as genocide in early 2025 and imposed sanctions on both the RSF and Sudanese army leadership. Sudan even took the UAE to the International Court of Justice, accusing it of arming the RSF. But the ICJ dismissed the case, saying it lacked jurisdiction. Egypt supports General Burhan's army, while the RSF is believed to receive material support from the UAE. Saudi Arabia and the US have hosted peace talks, but none have produced lasting results. Analysts warn the war risks spilling over into neighboring Chad and South Sudan, both already struggling with refugees and instability. What makes Sudan's tragedy especially haunting is its visibility. This is not a hidden genocide. It's happening in front of satellites, reporters, and governments that all know, yet fail to act. As aid workers flee and communications collapse, entire towns are being erased off the map. For many in Darfur, this feels like history repeating itself. The same communities once targeted in 2003 are now being massacred again. And just like 2 decades ago, the world is watching, but doing little. As El Fasher burns, Sudan's people continue to plead for the world's attention. Every hour counts, every silence costs lives. For more in-depth explainers and global news updates, don't forget to subscribe to the Indian Express on YouTube and hit the bell icon.
Okay, and so this is a good point. Delta said it's the Arabs backing it. So let me tell you this. I will say this. We have a good friend of the show, Mr. Nick, and he would always say, what about Congo? What about Sudan? And I would think, oh, the deflection is real. I'm starting to think that what some of the Zionists say, that this, why are you guys focused on Gaza? Why aren't you focused on this? That's why I say it's all connected. I feel like we're in a matrix and we're being distracted. Why do you think Americans and the world doesn't care about this?
Simple as this. There's been genocides going on in Africa for, I don't know, probably 100 years now, at least, that I can think back. The biggest ones were the DRC, Rwanda, were over. I think it was like close to like 3 million people were unalived over the last 30 years. Um, what were the other big ones? This is something that's been going on there. You have rebel groups fighting against the government there. You have the government unaliving people. Then you have the rebel groups unaliving people. It's just an ongoing cycle. I don't really think it's deflection that we're not talking about this, that we're talking about other things. I'm not saying this is not how I feel about it, but I think the world just doesn't care anymore because whatever we do, whatever the world does, let me choose my words correctly. Whatever the world does, it's not going to matter in there at all. They're going to keep doing it. People are going to keep unaliving, or yeah, they're going to keep genociding people over and over and over again, no matter who we put in place there, who we help put in power there, or what rebel groups we fund, because it's not just the UAE that's funding these genocides, because the United States has been funding them. Russia has been funding them. China has been funding them. Every single civilized country around the world has been funding these genocides that have been going on in Africa since colonization times. Going back to the British, they're really the ones who really started funding all of these militia groups to genocide the people in those areas so they can come and take over. This is something that's been learned over generations that has been going on in Africa. Africa is rich in everything, oil, gold, diamonds, you name it, lithium. Everybody wants a stake in there. And I just realistically think the world's just turning a blind eye because it's been going on for so long. They're just going to let them they're going to fund one side and just let people take each other out. So people can just go there like China and just take over. That's realistically how I'm feeling about it. The world just said, fuck it, let them do what they want so we can take what we want when they're done. That's why no one's getting involved.
That was deep, Enzo. I'm gonna play this clip and let Kimberly respond, but basically this girl said no one cares, and here's why.
Powerful people that don't want you to know what's going on in Sudan right now. Black Sudanese are being hunted down purely because of their skin color. The stories are horrifying, so scroll on if you can't handle it. Last week, Arab fighters went into a hospital and slaughtered over 400 Black patients, family members, doctors, and staff. Every single person in this hospital gone because of the color of their skin. Arab militants butchering every non-Arab they can find. The numbers are staggering. By some estimates, over 150,000 lives lost in just 2 years. Thousands upon thousands of cases of over 14 million people displaced. And it isn't by chance that people don't know about this. It's by design. Over the last few years, activists have shown how quickly they can organize against Israel. But they aren't marching for Sudan because Sudan doesn't serve the purpose of the people behind the protests. They cry human rights to bring people into the streets, but it's their silence that reveals that.
Kim, what do you think about what she said? Why are people not caring? And it blew my mind when I heard what was happening there. I did not know that this is being primarily based by skin color, and I was shocked when I heard that. What do you think?
I don't know. Maybe because I don't watch mainstream media or news, but like your friend, I've always bring up Sudan or Congo or even Azerbaijan. There are a lot of tragedies all over the world and in this country. There are a few really good peace advocate organizations like Code Pink who will consistently bring up like the humanitarian issues in Cuba, in Sudan, and it's just, oh man, I'll send you some videos. But Sudan is one of the 7 countries of Israel's clean break strategy before 9/11. Syria, Libya, Somalia, Lebanon, Sudan, Iraq, and the only one that we haven't invaded is, you guessed it, Iran. So there's a whole other conversation there to be had. The reason why the media has ignored it, I think they just haven't been able to ignore the Palestine-Gaza issue. But the mainstream media, unless they're really forced to, won't talk about a lot of these humanitarian issues. I've never heard the mainstream media talk about the genocide of Armenians in Azerbaijan. Also, they don't. Okay, so like our homies are the UAE. Same issue that we had with Yemen. A lot of people didn't know about the I'm over here saying genocide, but I mean the huge humanitarian crisis and still going on in Yemen. And man, oh man, there's just so much going on there. But so also I will say the reason why Americans are galvanized against Israel and Palestine is because we fund them. And there's also
Correct.
a very, 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 very prominent pro-Israel propaganda machine in mainstream media. So it's the Americans' response to that. And also, I've been to pro-Palestine protests. I try to avoid the No Kings ones because they're weird. But I did go to the first one because it was kind of joined with the pro-immigration protest. And I will say, every single time I go to a pro-Palestine protest, you will see back-to-back Palestinian Sudanese flags because they look very similar, almost alike. They're the exact same flag, but you switch the black and the red. Very similar flag. So I know that people who are at least don't watch mainstream media, who are anti-war, who are pro-peace, who are anti-colonialist, like me, have known about the conflict in Sudan. And I'm glad she corrected it because the video you said 12 million, but it is 14 million people displaced. It is the largest humanitarian crisis in the world, except to date, that would be Congo, which is also very sad. A very, very sad story. But I'll show you the videos that explain the clean break strategy, the Israeli clean break strategy. Sorry, the national security clean break strategy, the Mossad, the conservatives, and not Israel, not my Israeli friends. Yeah, this the whole conversation there. But I'm glad that people are talking about Nigeria and Sudan and all. There's a bunch of issues all over the world that we could talk about. There's a colonial pro-war prophet. We're all puppets. There are people who are so rich we don't even know who the fuck they are because they live in the UAE. They don't disclose how much they really own. A lot of the richest people in the world we've never even heard of. We don't even know how much fucking money they have. And they control everything we see, everything we hear, everything we eat, everything we breathe. We really have to learn how to think for ourselves and look beyond, especially the mainstream media and what we're being fed. A lot of it isn't really true.
Kamal, your topic tonight is why is Myron Gaines not talking about this, about his Sudan? What do you think about that? I mean, knowing what we know now, Myron calls himself an Arab whenever you hear him say. He did say so maybe he feels some guilt because, and I'm saying this as someone that's part Arab, he feels guilt that this is happening. I don't know. What do you think, Kamal?
Man, you look at hold on, you're right about that. He on the Arab side. That mean that motherfucker anti-black like they are over there. Damn. You feel me? I actually been knowing what's going on in Sudan. You feel me? They killing each other over like skin color and stuff like that. And I always pointed out, I'm like, why is this piss drinking hyena warrior always worrying about us Black Americans over here when you have a civil war over there? And now you gave me the final goddamn puzzle piece, Nora. It's the Arab people over there killing them. Bow. That's why he ain't talking about the shit. Why would he? He's trying to ignore it. You know who he gonna blame? He gonna be like, it's the blacks and the Jews. I'm like, how, Myron Gaines? How? So now black on black crime in Chicago that's causing that goddamn genocide in Sudan. It's us buying Jordans and shit and liking Popeye's chicken. While APAC is somehow the main reason why the damn Sudan goddamn civil war going on out there. Somehow we gonna get blamed for it. And he gonna use the word nigga 30,000 times, hard ER, while saying that the war on Sudan is our fault. God damn. But like I said, that's why I ain't talking about it. Why? I'm like, we just poke fun at him doing it because we know he ain't gonna talk about it. Why would he talk about his own people doing some fuck shit like that?
If I see him at AmFest, which by the way is sold out, everybody, I'm going. More to come on that. I am going to go up to him and I'm going to ask him, why are you not covering Sudan? And I'm going to say it respectfully because he said, oh, we're both tethers together. That's what he said when I walked up to him.
He did say that. See, hey, y'all, because I know they said it's going to be Sudan people dispersing all types of shit. You feel me? Please, for the love of God, can we get the non-anti-black Sudanese people over here that's going to be on fucking code? Goodness gracious, man. Y'all shooting a high percentage of bringing goddamn the Sudanese people that be hella anti-black. And like, I'm not going to say all at this point, we smart enough. We not talking about all right? But I'm telling y'all, I done met some Sudanese people, you feel me? And I would say this, the anti-blackness was fucking strong within. But I didn't know if they're Arab or not. I didn't even ask that. I'm just like, you feel me? But yeah, it's just funny how people wag the finger at certain cultures and certain situations, and then you go in their lineage and background, and then you find out they fucking shitting in the streets and, feel me, playing with Toronto J jerseys and shit. You feel me? If y'all get the joke, shout out to the Dodgers. Shout out to y'all. You feel me? But that's all I really got to say about that. Like, y'all really opened my eyes. I didn't know it was the Arab people over there.
I didn't know that before today too. And I'm gonna play this clip now and get Mia and Gray to respond. This is what they're talking about, the UAE influencers.
Are UAE-based influencers targeting Sudan online?
والله العظيم لو بيدي أنا حرام لا أخليكم ذكريات والله ولا تصيروا شيء ما بنفضكم.
Another sang taunting Sudanese civilians.
أبو لولو أبو لولو جاينكو أبو لولو جاينكو.
Abu Lulu, the RSF militia commander who bragged about killing over 2,000 civilians and filmed himself executing them. The third.
بتبكون دم أتقولون شعرة من محمد بن زايد شعرة ما تطولونها.
As evidence of the RSF's massacres in El Fasher emerges and UAE support for the paramilitary group continues, these influencers and seemingly bots have tried to shift the blame to the Sudanese army and away from the RSF war crimes. And some of these posts are extremely racist. One even replied to a post about the UAE exploiting Sudan's gold, saying monkeys don't have gold. One of the most vocal in this online campaign is Amjad Taha. He's UAE based, positions himself as an analyst, and frequently appears on Western media. He has consistently linked Sudan's army to Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood, framing the Sudanese armed forces as the Hamas of Africa. This week, he shared images of two families, one an Israeli family, the other a Sudanese family, claiming both were victims of Muslim Brotherhood-led forces. In reality, Middle East Eye could not find any evidence that the Sudanese family was killed by the army. Following Taha, other Emirati and UAE-based influencers piled on, sharing Taha's video and calling the Sudanese army the Hamas of Africa. Then on Thursday, two other Emiratis posted nearly identical statements condemning Iran's reaction to the UAE's role in Sudan, defending both the UAE and Israel, suggesting a coordinated effort. And it's not just Emiratis. Israeli accounts were also quick to chime in, having spent a long time pointing to Sudan to deflect attention away from Israel's own actions in Gaza. Far-right Israeli influencer Avi Yemeni posted that Christians in Sudan and Nigeria are being slaughtered by jihadists, a genuine genocide. But because it doesn't fit the narrative, almost nobody cares. Israel's official Arabic language account also reposted the same images Taha shared, claiming, once again, Sudanese civilians were killed by Muslim Brotherhood-led forces, mirroring that same narrative, almost word for word. Now, interestingly, Israel's state-owned defense company recently opened a regional arm in Abu Dhabi, the first such move since normalization, signaling deeper military and strategic ties between the two countries. But this online messaging is not new. Since Sudan's civil war began in April 2023, UAE-linked influencers have repeatedly dehumanized Sudanese civilians. In June 2024, one UAE journalist wrote online that one Emirati man equals more than 1,000 Sudanese civilians, showing the deep-seated rhetoric that has accompanied the conflict from the start. And so, as El Fasher burns, UAE and Israeli influencers continue to rewrite the story.
Can I ask the panel a question real quick?
Mm-hmm.
No, in Sudan, do y'all know what type of resources that they have there, or if there's like any? Because yeah, I'm kind of wondering that. You know,
Kim might know. Kim, aren't they like they're under a famine right now too? Like, because they're starving. They have the desert.
It has been declared a famine, I think, a while ago. There,
Oil, gold,
culture,
minerals,
Yeah.
chromium, copper, asbestos, mica, colon, iron ore, manganese, basically everything.
They have a significant resource, they say, of iron or copper, chromium.
Yeah. Uranium. Any civilized country is going to want uranium.
Right. But the ones taking over it's not really even America. It's mainly Russia and UAE from what I'm seeing. So, and to Enzo's point, European entities, but this is really, I don't know. I haven't seen that as heavily us. Mia, what do you think about that clip and the disinformation campaign that seems to be out there by those two people she named, countries she named?
I'm not surprised about the disinformation or rewriting of the narrative. So certain people are victims and certain people aren't the perpetrators. I'm not surprised at all. Plus, we're dealing with like the UAE, the people that live there, they have the kind of they have the level of wealth that is like unimaginable. Like these people literally live in la la land. They are so disconnected from like real reality and the real world out there. It's like a whole different thing. I am not surprised they're trying to rewrite the narrative. I'm sure because they're being paid to by their own governments or entities or whatever. I actually had no idea what was going on in Sudan, so this is all news to me. I am very empathetic and I have a lot of compassion for what's happening, but I feel like I'm kind of there with Enzo when it comes to this. I think it happens, unfortunately, when I say all the time, it happens quite often, especially when there is a toppling of governments over in various countries in Africa, and then the power vacuum happens and the civil war happens before somebody else rises on top. It seems to happen pretty often over there, unfortunately. And I think if we're doing Maslow's hierarchy of needs in America, most people aren't even eating. They're not able to pay their basic bills like their shelter, food, water. So most people literally don't even have the capital in their minds to think about a genocide in Africa when they can't even fulfill that bottom part of that pyramid. So I don't think Americans are inherently being ignorant. I just think since we can't even meet the bottom part of that pyramid, we can't even elevate to the next part to think about somebody else's struggles at this point in time. Obviously that could change, but we've been shut down for weeks now. Planes are probably going to start falling out the sky soon. So we got a lot of shit going on here. And unfortunately, I don't think Americans just bandwidth can handle anymore.
And I want to add on that though, also, like, to be real, they always in American business. They don't tell us what's really going on over there, as we can see. It's like they so worried about what we got going on over here. It's hard for us to even like think about what's going on over there when they not even worried about what's going on over there their damn self.
Gray, what do you think? Why are Americans not caring and talking about this?
You're muted.
I think scientifically we need to look at the bloodthirstiness of humankind, because humans are the only species that do this. Lions, there was a coalition of lions. If you want to go see the documentary, it's called the Mambogo Lion Coalition. And they went and they like killed over 100 lions, and they gathered all this territory, right? And the biologists were like, "Oh, you see, these lions are like the best lions ever." They killed the children. So you're basically trying to take over a territory and basically make this population never come back. So humankind is supposed to be so much advanced, but they do the same thing that other mammals do. So I mean, like Israel and Mia said, yeah, this happens all the time. So why are human beings so bloodthirsty and don't care about human life?
Well, guys, that's
Analogies.
what. Yeah, I mean the sharks, and now we got the lions.
Exactly.
We got the whole fucking zoo over here with Gray.
I gotta find
Hey,
a
a
sound.
second. We're supposed to have
effect.
one every single show. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I got a sound. I think, guys. Wait, where is it? Oh man, I don't know. Maybe a gong. Maybe that's a gong moment for you. The wild. So.
Oh shit.
That's a documentary if you want to see it. There was four brothers. They took over all of this land. Four brothers. So if you want to go see
Lion
some
Brothers?
yes.
A little lion gang?
It was a whole
Wyans?
they killed the
Little
father.
lion Wyans
Then
went
they
up
went
there
and
and just
took
took
over
over.
multiple prides. They took over multiple prides.
Oh god, this was great. Okay, but going back to the show, guys, this was great. Going to our poll, 125 votes. The majority is no. They do not think Ma'am Donnie is going to take over with 58%. So the no's won tonight. So maybe the future is bright. Enzo, you don't got to worry. The poll said it, so you don't got to worry, bro. You don't got to worry. But
I don't believe polls. Polls said Hillary was winning the fucking election. They said Trump was winning in 20. They said fucking Kamala was winning in 24. I don't believe polls.
Facts. But if you're watching, please click the oh god, this was a good show. Thank you for the laughs, guys. Thank you. I'm gonna allow the ladies to go first. Kimberly, what's your closing thoughts?
My connection's really bad. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we could kind of hear
Yeah, but you
Hello?
could just keep your camera off. That might help. We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you Yes, I can hear you, but I'm glitching.
You're
It's
glitching.
the
Okay, go ahead and
Matrix.
go ahead and come back in then. Kim, we'll let you go after.
Okay.
All right. Okay, Enzo, what's your closing thoughts?
My closing thoughts were this was a great episode. Hope our playing what's the fucking saying? With New York, I'm hoping for the best, but I'm gonna be a realist and say New York's screwed. With this government shutdown, I'm gonna keep saying it. Democrats, you guys need to open your eyes, right? This entire government shutdown was over subsidies, right? I have the CR in front of me that the Democrats put forward. If this was about the subsidies, are we giving $400 million to European banks, $174,000 to widows of past Congress people, plenty of other money in this CR? Why couldn't they just sign the CR that was signed last year under Biden to open the government to provide food for families to FAA members? How much more blood do you need on your hands from your own people for them to realize? And now that the elections happen, they want to come to the table. This was emotional election manipulation. That's exactly what this was. And that's what I've been saying the entire week after reading all this. And I have people that are Democrats agreeing with me too. That's the funny thing about it. I talk about this every single day. One thing that I've been saying all my lives is we need to put civics tests and a little bit of economy, some type of economy test into when you go to vote, because we see that voting now, people I'm sorry, Americans are stupid. I'm going to echo what the Europeans say. Americans are stupid at this point. You guys don't pay attention to anything. You just vote blue no matter who. You vote red no matter who. You don't look anything up. Politics is not that difficult. It's not rocket science. We need to pick who's best for our country and who's best for us at the end of the day, and that's not happening anymore. That being said, this was a great episode. Hope everyone has a great night and a great weekend. So.
Exactly. This was a great episode, Enzo, you brought up some valid points. People are dying. Somebody today just got unalived by the police because they stole some damn groceries. So more to come on that. Kim, you working now? You glitching? I think you're good now.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay. I don't know who needs to hear this, but socialism works. Trickle down economics is a farce. The market does not regulate itself. And I think New York is going to be fine. Free buses in the richest city, in the richest country in the world. It can be done. That prayer we heard in Dearborn, I don't know if that was like outside of like a religious center or if that's like in the cities, like how Hawaii has those tsunami warnings. That is a bit much. Yeah. So I think there should be a complete separation of church and state. I'm Christian. I don't think it should be a Christian state. Christ has not come here to establish a Christian state, but to free us from our oppressors. Also, I'm glad we talked about Sudan. My heart goes out to anybody, anywhere in the world. Me and my kids, we always pray for all the people of the world. If our leaders were true Christians, we wouldn't have all these conflicts all over the world. I do want to say there are people who are a lot smarter than me who do talk about these issues on principle and consistently. Code Pink is a really good anti-war organization. Antiwar.com is actually a libertarian organization. They talk a lot about Sudan. That's really good. Scott Horton is really good on that topic as well. Glenn Greenwald is good on that. The Gray Zone. There's so many great independent media sources out there that are not mainstream. Stop watching CNN. Stop watching Fox. Stop watching MSNBC. You don't have to agree with everybody on everything to follow them on certain topics. Like there are people that I follow on certain topics for my news source that I don't agree with them on everything, but we do need to be able to think for ourselves. And I do agree that there are a lot of stupid people out there. They intentionally keep us down. We're indoctrinated in these really a not well-funded public school system. It should be a beacon of the best educational system of the world, I think, this country. And also, just to end it, immigrants make America great. This country is the greatest country on the face of the earth because it is a pluralistic combination of people from all over the world. And that is what makes this country the greatest country in the world, the immigrants. But yeah, it was a great show. I really appreciated it. Thank you guys for having me again.
Thank you, Kim. Mia, what's your closing thoughts? Ooh.
Great episode. If you're not following us, please do follow us. We do this Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And like I said, great episode. If you ever find yourself out and about, make sure you don't run into any lions. They act like YNs and they like territory. So make sure if you do run into a lion, it's only one, not four, because they'll take over everything. Just throwing that out there. And I will say, a lot of tough times ahead. A lot of people don't know this month marks 18 months of the ending of the US petrodollar, which is why our economy is crashing and why our banking system is crashing, because oil is no longer sold exclusively in the US dollar. So there's a little factoid for you, because that agreement ended in June 2024 that we signed with Saudi Arabia, which is why our markets are crashing and why the banks are looking for quick liquidity in the repo market. So if you don't have cash, I suggest you go grab cash and you keep cash at home and you start stockpiling, because it's going to get rough and our economy is legitimately going to crash, because now we don't have the backing of the petrodollar anymore and we are no longer the reserve currency of the world. So everybody have a good night.
Oh Lord, we all gonna die according to Mia. Gray, what's your closing thoughts?
I would say like the reason Mandami won is because of affordability. It's always going to be top versus bottom. And today, Tesla shareholders approve a new pay package for Elon Musk to become the first person to become a trillionaire if he meets the performance targets that he's supposed to meet. So we're about to have our first trillionaire ever. So this doesn't look good. And this is why we have top versus down. Like we always say, a new party, always vote.
Always vote. Kamal, what's your closing thoughts?
Man, this episode been funny as hell, especially the later part of the damn episode. Gray, you just explained the Lion King. I'm sorry, bro. That's the plot to the Lion King. That
It's
was
a
a
real
great man.
documentary. Go check it out.
What was it called? The Lion is
I'll put it back on the screen.
Shout out to Great, man. You stay getting us with the what was that motherfucker Crocodile Dundee ass facts? Appreciate it, bro. Keep us with the animal facts, man. Shout out to everybody else on the panel too. Y'all go follow everybody on the panel. They got their own TikToks. Enzo got 35 TikToks. I don't know which one he wants me to promote today. Check out Kim too. I don't know, Kim. We might have to deport your ass. You caving for these immigrants too goddamn much. But shout out to you, Kim. Appreciate you. Mia,
I was born here.
I ain't gonna lie. I got sad after hearing you. We broke, no money coming in. No, right. You just made it seem like we just about to just die. God damn. But shout out to Mia. Y'all go follow her too. And follow the new party. I got them pinned on my side of the game at the top of the chat. Also hit the notification bell so you know when they go live. Go live Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Also on my end, Kamal Johnson Network. Y'all go follow over there. Also hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. Yeah, this episode was hella funny at the end. Goodness, man. Gray, I appreciate you with the goddamn animal facts, man. We got to make a damn segment and get a goddamn sound effect for that shit, bro. For real. Also, I learned something, and no, I'm glad we brought this up because I didn't know the Arab side in Sudan was the ones causing the genocide, which makes perfect sense why the hyena warrior, Myron Gaines, didn't want to fucking talk about this shit. Like, it's his people that's hella anti-black over there. That's why it makes perfect sense on why he anti-black over here. So I'm glad we kind of covered this, you feel me? And it's just sad to see that like certain genocides get more promo than other genocides, right? But also Mamadani, bruh, immigrants didn't build this fucking country. I'm tired of that trope. Stop the bull malarkey. The immigrants didn't build no damn country, okay? All right. And I ain't gonna lie, shit is like Looney Tunes out here. You feel me? We got an immigrant in New York talk about hell yeah, we caping for the immigrants. I'm like, oh shit. Y'all, New York, I'm telling you now though, you can't go to Texas. Greg Abot, he like, I'm gonna put a tariff on your ass. He literally said he gonna put 100% tariff on any New Yorker that moves to Texas. That's some Looney Tunes shit. But hey, I'm here to see it. Do that shit. It have more content for us. You feel me? But yeah, I hope everybody have a lovely weekend. You feel me? Unless you anti-black and a damn hunky. And I'm so glad David Johnson in the chat didn't go off the deep end. At least you was kind of on topic. You came in here at first, seemed like, you know, the old man yelling at pigeons again and digital pigeons, but you kind of stayed on topic. So appreciate you. Appreciate everybody else in the chat. Eric, you funny as hell, bro. Called me Afro Samurai. That's funny. Shout out to King, shout out to Heaven and everybody else that's part of the new party. Like I said, hit that notification bell for the new party so you know when they go live. And also, hey, did y'all know that people could go on the community tab and actually like post things on the community tab and have input? So y'all go on the community tab and start putting some input on things and stuff like that. And my last comment gonna be, if you gonna hate like that dweeb hated earlier, at least super chat us. We appreciate that. I'm about to go watch some Disney movies, man. Mia done got me sad. She like, we broke. You coming in? I'm gonna go watch The Lion King, goddammit.
Oh Lord. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna end on a high note. The future is bright. America was built by the brave, not the fearful. We stand together in courage, or we fall apart in fear. Team New Party W. Everybody in the chat. My closing thoughts I'm going to give to talk about our promo we're doing this month. So please check it out. Support the team so we can pay for some Christmas gifts for the team. Here we go. God bless everyone. Good night. Hi guys, we have an exclusive offer for the upcoming holiday season. So be a part of the fastest growing political movement out there right now, the new party. If you join for $1.99 from now until December 31st, you get exclusive badges, exclusive emojis, and you also get access to all of our member-only content. For the next grade up, our $4.99 plan, which is for the senators, you get to join a once-a-month exclusive member-only call and ask us anything you like. Link in bio, check it out. Make sure you guys are joined. Also, make sure you're subscribing. Thank you for all your support.